That's close enough to start time. If people don't know to be here by now, that's their fault. Hi guys, welcome to the show. Hope you're well. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm actually having an okay day. Not too bad. I spent most of the day sleeping, which I my body is needed, and I feel pretty decent right now. And hope you guys are too. What a show we have in store today. The original premise of the show, as indicated by the title and thumbnail, is about what HR is doing to companies. And we will get to that. But before we do that, we have to cover a couple of other things. First up, Miss Hayden, I don't know how to say her last name, Pantieri? I have no idea how to say her last name. Passed away at 36. And I'm only familiar with her through the Scream franchise because I do love the Scream franchise. And she's in what, two of the movies, I think 4 and 6. But apparently she was a child star, and I know way more about this woman than I need to at this point. I saw it popped up that she had passed. And I was like, oh shit. And I look her up because she looks familiar to me, but I didn't know from where. And that's when I saw the cover for Scream 6. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember her. But there were articles from just back in May where she's writing a book or had written a book. And in the book, it's basically My Life is Sucked by Hayden, however you say her last name. And reading the article, there's one where she has a interview, and of course they're not giving cause of death, which immediately makes me think, oh, she did it herself. But excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. I still got drainage issues. Um, I just feel bad for the girl because she was a child star who, in her words, was groomed. I'm not gonna touch deeper on that. Um, Penetier is how it's pronounced. I'm never gonna remember that, so we'll just refer to her as Hayden to be respectful. Um, she hooked up with one of the Klitschko brothers, a boxing family. Who was it, Vladimir? And they had a kid together, and then he forced her to leave it in Europe. Uh, yeah, she's not had a good life, and if what I think happens, it's just really fucking sad. But this is don't let your kids be child stars, man. That shit never turns out well. Can anybody show me an example of the child star that turned out well? Grooming in Hollywood, I'm shocked. I tell you, shocked. No shit, right? Oh, yeah. So if I'm the one breaking the bad news to you, if you're a fan of hers, I apologize. But yeah, that's what's been happening today. This just happened a couple of hours ago, I think is when this broke. But yeah, that sucks. That's fucking horrible. And then we got to talk about this twat. Oh my god. Who was it? Was it you, Toasted, that brought this into my life yesterday? Can I just say fuck you? I knew nothing about Lindsay Clancy, not a damn thing. I hadn't heard anything in this trial that's apparently been going on for 3 fucking weeks. Where the hell have I been? Anyway, so this is the chick who kills her 3 children and then jumps out of his. I don't mean to laugh at this, but she tried to kill herself by jumping out of a second-story window. And instead, all she did was cripple herself. Good job, moron. Um, I'm glad you get to live the rest of your life without the use of your legs, you piece of shit. But I hadn't heard literally anything about this. And then I wake up tonight and my whole fucking timeline is full of this idiot. Thank you, Dark Conservatarian. Who's the lady with the John Benenthal knows? This is Lindsay. Oh, fuck. What's her last name? Clancy. Lindsay Clancy, the child murderer. She killed her 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and 8-month-old while asking her husband to pick her up dinner. She had sent him out to get her medication that she needed, her psychomeds, which apparently she didn't take. Okay, I'm saying that facetiously because according to the lawyers and everybody, she was totally on the psych drugs. But she sends him to go get the psych drugs, and The prosecution's theory is to keep him out of the house. She then asked him to please pick up some takeout for dinner to keep him away from the house while she killed their 3 children and then jumped out the window and landed head first and broke her neck. I'm sorry. I think it's so fucking funny because I really do hope she was trying to kill herself and then she woke up and was like, oh shit, I made everything worse. Because she's hoping for the end of ends there, but yeah, it's the second floor, you fucking moron. You would have had to hit just perfectly to do what you were trying to do. I shouldn't make jokes though. I mean, there's 3 dead children here, but one of the things that the reasons we're talking about this is because I'm so sick of women. And this is going to be a theme since we're going to be talking about HR anyway. It's going to be a theme of the show today about how fucking sick I am of women. Not all women, because there are smart women out there. There's great women out there. But the ones who get attention and the ones who make change are fucking horrible people. I saw a therapist who said, this is the most important trial in the last several decades. And it's because all women can sympathize with this chick. Because if you've had more than one kid, you probably had these weird postpartum issues. Because that's the case here, of course. She killed her 3 children because of postpartum depression 8 months after she's had her 3rd child. And it's like, but women will understand. Women will understand. Okay. All right. You know what? Fuck you. Just fuck you. I'm gonna give you guys a case because it's not like men don't have a similar thing, right? Where we see somebody who did something horrible and we're like, I get it. I get it. Do you guys remember not that long ago, maybe a month or 2? We talked about this woman who came home and she found a 20-year-old man under her 13-year-old daughter's bed. And then she marched him out of the house at gunpoint and then executed him. Do you guys remember that? I understand why she did what she did. I get it. But I still think she needs to go to prison because the way she did it was completely wrong. She murdered that man. And while I get the notion to murder when you come home and find a grown-ass adult under your 13-year-old child's bed, that doesn't mean you get to just murder them. So I understand the whole thing of, well, women will relate. But here's the thing. Why are you relating with the chick who murdered it instead of all of the women who've had those feelings and didn't? Why is that not the big story? Instead, you're trying to excuse a murderer instead of saying, hey, you crazy bitch, everybody else who's been through this has just pushed through and not killed their kids. But in the women world, in the white woman world, because of course it was a white woman therapist, it's like, oh, I mean, we all want to kill our kids. Really, bitch? Is that really the thought you want to put out into the world? Is that, hey, because sometimes we get depressed, it's okay that this twat killed her children? Hey, Jack, how you doing? Jack, are you there?
Oh, I'm here now.
There you are.
You know.
We're just talking about how the women's reaction to this bitch killing her kids.
Oh my God, it's been disgusting.
Like, hey, we all want to kill our kids. Well, doesn't it tell you something that you guys haven't? That it is possible to control that feeling, and that maybe giving into it makes you a horrible fucking piece of shit who should spend the rest of their very short life in prison?
You would think.
But instead, you got actual therapists out there going, this is like, women will totally get it. My wife had 3 children. And maybe she had some dark thoughts. You know what she didn't do? Murder my children.
Yeah, that's a good thing. She didn't, because kids seem nice.
This is basically telling women, hey, if you feel that way, go ahead and kill them. Which I guess for the group of people who's like, if you didn't get to kill them in the womb, here's your do-over.
Here's your second chance.
Call a mulligan on that shit. Real quick, let me get these. Gigi, thank you so much. Just got here. The thumbnail made me I think you were covering Chris Chan. No, that is what was her name? Lydia or fuck. I forgot her name. We'll see it in a little bit. We'll talk about that eventually. We are going to get there, but no, this has nothing to do with Chris Chan. And Dark Conservatarian, thank you. What's funny is that I'm rewatching some old streams of you talking crap about Steven Crowder relating to him abusing Hillary. Can it be said that Monkey just hates all bad people?
You monster!
I'm not a big fan of bad people. Thank you for that feminist $12 again there, Dark Conservatarian. Also, side note, I watched Cobra for the first time ever. Pretty standard 80s action flick, but at least it was more entertaining than Invasion USA. As, what does that say? Sacrilegious as that might be to say.
Indeed.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever seen Cobra. That's the Stallone movie, right? Yeah, I know of it. Yeah. I've never actually watched it.
It's a fun film. It's an 80s action film. If you like 80s action films, you'll like it.
I think I've seen the Razor Force video on that, or Razor. What does he call it when he used to do movie reviews?
I don't know.
But I think I know the whole story from watching that, but I've never watched Cobra. Thank you, Night Fighter. If it was a husband suffering from PTSD from tours in Iraq and didn't get the help he needed and then killed his 3 kids because of voices told him to, he would still get the death penalty. Well, here's the thing. I mean, here in Michigan, we just went through a big case where a dude killed himself, his wife, and their kids. And all the conversation around it, I mean, the guy had lost his job, and all the conversation around it, what a horrible fucking piece of shit he is. And I'm with you. But why is he a horrible piece of shit? And she, I mean, can't really be held responsible for what she did. You know what I mean?
She's just a delicate petunia.
Yeah. If a guy did this, he'd be a horrible piece of shit. Her doing it doesn't excuse it. And this whole nonsense of like, well, all women feel that way. That just makes it even more highlighted how fucked up it is that she gave into that. Because we don't just give in to our crazy notions of, hey, I'm going to kill that fucker. Trust me, it'd be a whole different world if that happened. But they're trying to turn this into a woman thing. The only woman thing that should be here is how bad women are at math to not understand jumping out of a second floor window isn't going to be what you think it is. You know, the stuff men jump out of all the time to like save a baby in a fire. Oh, that'll kill me. Probably not. We need to work on physics with women because they just apparently don't understand it. Instead of killing her kids, this bitch should have had a physics book open. And why? Okay. Why did she need to kill the kids? She's depressed. They weren't. Just jump your ass out the window. Why'd you got to take the kids with you?
Because this is how family annihilators work.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's going on here. The same kind of fucking people. I guarantee you, anybody who's like, I understand what she did, ask him how they feel about abortion. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Because they don't value human life. All they value is the notion of woman. Not even this woman. They don't give a shit about Lindsay Clancy. They don't care about this cunt. All they're like, but she's woman, and woman has to be defended when they do horrible shit like murdering 3 children. I'm so but yeah, Toasted, you're the one who introduced this to me, and I probably would have ended up seeing it with all of the shit on my timeline today. But since you introduced me to it, fuck you. You son of a bitch. Anyhow, Jack. So those are the first 2 stories of the day. The other one I talked about was oh shit, what's her name? The chick who just died.
Oh, Hayden Panties. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are our 2 top stories that kept me from the fun stuff I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about this. Her name is Laura Fryer, and she used to work at Microsoft specifically for Xbox. And she now has a YouTube channel where she talks about all the shit wrong in the game industry, which you could probably start several channels on that topic. As fuck. But she does it from an insider's perspective because she actually, this isn't somebody who got a job at Xbox for 10 minutes cleaning the coffee maker and then's like, I worked. No, she's been in the business for years, like decades. And she eventually, oh shit, why is this not on the screen? She eventually gets ousted from Xbox. There we go. There she is on the screen. And I don't know if she left of her own accord or if like she knew she was being pushed out, so she left, or if they actually fired her. I'm pretty sure she left of her own accord. I'm not as familiar with her as I am some other game devs, but I am familiar with her. Enough to say that she's not some poser just pretending she knows what's going on. What does that say? Second floor equals first floor in English. What, you guys don't count the ground floor as the first floor? What do you call that? Floor zero? English people. Xbox is toast now. Well, there's a push to get Elder Scrolls 6 to go console exclusive for Xbox to try to save Xbox. We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Anyway, so this is her talking about HR, and I originally saw this Smash. He starts watching it, and I'm barely paying attention, but I'm listening to her. I'm like, okay, I got to go find that video, and it gives me a chance to do several things. One, point out that the games industry has gone to shit largely because of women, and I know that seems kind of counterintuitive from the fact that I'm highlighting a woman from gaming who was successful and is saying something that I agree with here. But when I say that women have ruined gaming, it's not gaming companies. It's not because women can't do the job, right? Women can't get in there and be helpful and stuff like it, but it has to be certain women. Like in this case, this is a chick who really liked games and really liked developing and putting out a good product, something that's fun to do, rather than she's going to highlight a clip later where this lady's like, I actually got into the gaming industry on accident. I didn't really like games, but then I realized, I thought back and I'm like, oh, I did like games. That's the kind of, yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm not fucking kidding. It's the Anita Sarkeesian thing where it's like, I wasn't a gamer. And they're like, no, I totally, look, here's a picture of me playing the Nintendo on Christmas back in '85.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could dig out a photo of my sister playing Mario or Duck Hunt. That doesn't make her a gamer.
My wife is a gamer. She loves games. She plays games almost as much as I do. And if she wanted to go into the gaming industry to help make a good game, I would support that. There's not many women I can say that about. Because like my daughter plays games, but she's not a hardcore gamer. And so would I support that? I mean, it's my daughter, so yeah, but not because I'm like, oh, she knows games, is gonna know what is fun. Sorry, kiddo. Maybe you wish you could play more games. I'm not saying you don't, but there's a difference between a woman who gets a job that she loves and just shoving a bunch of women in there because we gotta hit a quota and we totally don't have quotas.
Monkey, they need girl power.
If you go back and look at the gaming companies, because game companies love taking pictures of themselves. I don't know why, but you go back and you look at the early, like Black Isle Studio or early Bethesda and any of the B words, you'll notice that the overwhelming majority of people in those pictures, by like 20-1, if there's a girl in there, she stands out. They're all men. Because it's a male-dominated thing that men like, and women like, if a man plays video games, he's just a little boy. is that the bitch you really want in charge of how games are made? Like, if you like games, you're just a kid. Well, then you should not have anything to do with these things. And these people aren't getting into it for a love of gaming. They're getting into it for a love of HR. And that's where we're gonna head in this discussion. But it even permeates into things like, well, she's a programmer. Let me talk to her and see if she should be making a video game, because I'm gonna bet no. I would love to be pleasantly surprised like I am with Laura here, but overwhelmingly, no. And there's a second video that we're only going to watch a tiny little clip of, but where she's talking about how in gaming, like she talks specifically back about the year 2000 and working at Xbox, where they would have like screaming matches with each other. Like Bill Gates, to be persuaded to even keep the Xbox, he thought it was going to be a complete loser. And guys, for those of you who are like, it is now, it wasn't for a long time. It was a fantastically successful product for a long time.
Yeah.
But they had a boardroom meeting. They literally called the St. Valentine's Day Massacre because they are in there screaming at each other over whether or not to go forward with this. And Bill Gates eventually relents. And she's like, that's the kind of passion we need in gaming. And you know why you can't have that kind of passion? Because of fucking HR. You guys might have noticed this. When I get passionate, I get a little ranty. My voice goes up. My use of 4-letter words that I wasn't allowed to say as a child increases.
What? That's crazy.
But even you and me have had some contentious discussions on this show. Sure. And then literally right afterwards, we're back to, okay, let's talk about this other thing. And we're back to normal.
Yeah, we're grown-ups. That's why.
But if either of us was a woman, that would be the end of it. Like, how dare you talk to me like that? And again, hashtag not all women, because there are outliers. But generally speaking, a woman would be like, oh, why do you hate me? Why you talk to me like that? I was just trying to give my opinion and you were yelling me down. Am I wrong? And this is the problem.
No, not at all.
I almost named this men and women shouldn't work together, because that's the reality of it. Men and women should not work together. Yes, there are outliers like Laura here who worked well with the men and stuff. But you really don't want to run things based on the outliers. That's how you fail. That's how you end up with an Anita Sarkeesian getting to tell you how to make games because she has a picture of herself playing Nintendo. And it is amazing how much power that woman wields in the gaming industry still. It doesn't get talked about much, but she absolutely is still right there involved. Her feminist frequency shit failed miserably, as it should, but behind the scenes, she's still
Okay.
Well then. Well, that was weird. The picture went out, so I just assumed that I got disconnected.
Nope.
Huh. I wonder if that's a StreamYards thing. Maybe the audience is getting some issues that we're not. Anyway.
Let me check my screen.
Thank you, Dixie Rose, for becoming a member for month number 37. Thank you.
Nice.
The punishment
Thank you, Dixie.
should fit the crime. Death penalty ×3. Resurrect and repeat. Hell yes. Yes, I agree. Nope, still here. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was then. Anyhow. Should we just get into the video or should I keep? Yeah, let's just get into the video.
It's been calling this out for months. HR.
Oops, she said her audience has been calling it out for months. I don't feel like reading it.
Has become a big problem, and it's slowly ruining the games that we love.
Now, here's my first disagreement with her, because so far everything else she said I agree with. HR is killing games, but it's not just games, it's all companies. But I disagree with the notion of slowly. I 100% like, no, this is pretty fast. I mean, you're seeing companies that have been around for decades just destroyed by this shit as they're trying to appease everybody. She's going to give an example later, and I'm sorry to jump on this, but this is how ridiculous it is. She wanted to hire a senior programmer, and HR told her she couldn't say it that way because it might offend old people. I want to say that again. Senior programmer might offend old people. That's what HR does. All HR does is sit around, and they're kind of like Fauci and gain of function. It's like, this isn't a problem, but it might be. So let's fix it before it becomes one, even though it was never going to be a problem.
I would argue that these are people that are like the nosy neighbors that are just looking for a problem, even a phantom problem.
Because old gamers care. Well, again, you have to understand the mindset that this is coming from. HR, don't take my word for it, look up the statistics, is overwhelmingly run by women.
Yep.
It is. The last company I worked at, I think their HR department, I don't want to guess the size, but I know there were no men on it. Not a single one. And this is a major company. And no guys were involved because men aren't wanting. Because HR, the whole purpose of HR is to make companies feminized.
Yes.
Like, there wasn't, if you go back to the days of like mechanics when they'd have like naked pictures on their wall, there wasn't a single other male mechanic who was like, oh, God, I'm tired of seeing those boobs. Could you please cover that up, Steve? But as soon as it's like, well,
we have this up there.
Now you got like, well, Stevette works here, so we got to cover them boobies. Now you can make the argument, hey, that's not appropriate in the workplace. Fuck you. Who decides that? Who decides that a mechanic in his own little cubby, not customer facing, he's got some boobies up? And like, that's not appropriate here. It was appropriate for the last 20 years. Why is it not appropriate now? Who decided
because
what appropriate
some woman
means?
Gets upset.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all about crybabies. Oh, something I don't like, I have to impose my will on you. They're authoritarians.
Absolutely. And the whole thing has been to make workplaces more in tune with women, because us men were doing it wrong, apparently. Because we had fun and we joked about stuff that's you can't joke about how nice her boobs look, because that offends me. Fuck off. Fuck right off.
How dare you? How very dare you?
And HR has won. Everything is feminized. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I've been making the argument about feminization forever, but HR is a large part of it. HR should just be women win is what it should be called. And I do dislike that. Maybe it's because she's a woman, but she doesn't bring up the whole feminization part of it, which is what it is. It really is. I watched a thing earlier today, Jack. I only watched part of it. I'd never seen it before, but it was a video. I've never seen the channel, but it was like, is Supergirl or was Supergirl that bad? And it's this little weird game show thing that they do. And they had 3 people come up there and give scores to Supergirl and then defend it, right? And so there's the host, who's a chick, and then there's 2 guys and a gal. And the first guy, he gives it a score from 1 to 100, and he gives it a 40. Like, okay, fair enough. The second guy, he gives it a 70, because if Marvel made a bad movie like that, nobody would care. They'd just move on. How do you say if they made a bad movie like that, they just move on, and then give that bad movie a 70?
That's a good question.
If it's a 70, you don't have to move on from the bad movie. It's a kind of movie.
Yeah.
70 out of 100 is actually pretty good. So the lady gets to talk, and I swear to God, each of them defend their positioning by talking about the movie or the plot or the characters or lack thereof. It gets to be her turn, and she gives it a 72. One, to outdo the guy, of course.
Of course.
But she gave it a 72 because if this was a male-led movie, nobody would think it was bad. That was her excuse for why it was a good movie. Because if there was a guy in there, everybody would think it was good.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand women lack reason and accountability, but logic, there should be at least a little bit there.
Nope. It's because if it wasn't female led, everybody would have loved it. No, there's can you explain Black Adam to me then? That's probably because of race.
Yeah, he's from a brown area.
How about the second Shazam movie? How about Batman v Superman? No, I don't know anybody who even the people who are like, it's kind of a sleeper favorite of mine, won't argue that it's actually a good movie.
I liked it, but we've seen my taste in films, so
yeah. But would you call it a good movie?
I would say it has good scenes, but
That's
overall,
different.
it's not a good movie. I was answering the question.
Yep.
I'll get there. Yeah, it's a very incredibly flawed film with some really cool scenes. And you can tell a lot of these superhero movies, especially, are made by people that don't understand superheroes at all. Like, you were never a child in the U.S. I don't understand this.
Black Romeo and Frosted, or that wasn't Frosted. That was Black Romeo. Somebody else said it. Green Lantern.
No, that's a terrible film.
It's male led, so clearly it was a hit. Nobody says it's a bad film because it's male led. This is part of the problem. When a woman fails, it's never because of the product, right? Like the last Charlie's Angels movie. It's not because it was a shitty movie. It's because of those goddamn men. Those
men.
They just hate women. Okay, then how did the first Captain Marvel movie make $1 billion? Was that men's fault or not? Is it because it was woman led or not? I need somebody to help me out with the logic here. Anyway, back to our HR. It just pissed me off that this woman immediately went to, female led is why they didn't like it. No, it's because it's a shit movie. The premise is stupid. You turned Supergirl into a drunken whore. And there's even by fans of it, the guy who gave it 70, it's not a good fucking movie. But you have to say it is because female led. He actually, even the guy who gave it a 70, he said the really great part of it was what's her name, Millie Alcock.
Oh yeah.
She just did great, which he is the only person I've ever seen say that. I'm sure other critics have, but even people that I've seen that it's an okay movie, dog on her performance. Plus, she looks like an ugly dude. Anyway.
Today, we need to talk about why the eggshell culture is killing the games industry.
It's not just the games industry. It literally is killing everything. And it is because we have to worry about people's feelings rather than what is good. If you propose something, Jack, like let's shoot ourselves in the chest to become stronger. And I say, that's a really stupid fucking idea. And you're like, but it's my idea. And how dare you call it stupid?
Hey, I am a strong and powerful woman. You will do what I command, right? That's how this works.
But that's how it is. It's like, hey, that's a dumb idea. And it's like, but I'm a woman and I came up with it.
Comments like tyranny through politeness in HR. There is no such thing as critical feedback. It's get in line and ignore multiple giant elephants to spare someone's feelings.
Ding, 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 ding. It should be noted in the background, she's playing video of Concord. The Sony flop that was so bad they gave refunds to everyone who bought it after an 8-year, reportedly between $200 and $400 million development cycle. Yeah. And a large part of why this is being shown is because somebody somewhere should have been like, this is a bad idea. But there have been releases from the team involved in this where maybe it wasn't this game. There's several games that this has happened. And so I might be mixing that up. But where any disagreement would literally get you fired, if you weren't fully on board with like, this is the greatest thing ever, then you were outcast literally to the street because you were problematic, don't you know?
Yeah, how dare you?
It's okay to override an underling who's like, that's a bad idea. And you're like, I'm going to override you on that. But you should have that underling who's challenging the parts that they see as bad. Jonathan, it's your birthday, and this is for you, my friend. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Jonathan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sir. Hope you have a good one. To be fair, it was a guy behind Mixtape. Well-defined guy. I mean, there was a guy behind The Last of Us 2, but I don't actually consider him a man. Anyway.
And the toxic positivity, walking on eggshell culture has hurt the industry and the customers who want these games.
Toxic positivity being the idea of what I was just talking about. Like, you just go along because the Emperor, no, he totally has clothes on. And meanwhile, the Emperor's walking down the street naked. That's what toxic positivity.
No, that's his naked uniform. Nope. That's his naked costume.
Toxic positivity is just agreeing, even though you know something is bad, and letting bad shit go ahead. You know, stupid shit like saying a woman killing her 3 kids is totally understandable and she should get away with it. You know, because she's woman.
Roar.
A toxic positivity vibe. You weren't allowed to say anything, apparently internally, about this game.
You see, somewhere along the way.
Yeah. That's that should be a red flag. Now, if you ban somebody from bringing up the topic they brought up 4 times, you've already overruled them on, cool. But if you're not allowed to have any criticism, you're gonna, unless you just get really lucky and everything just happens to be perfect, you're gonna run into shit like, hey, those are really boring characters in a gameplay loop that you can already play for free on much better games, which is exactly what happened with Concord. They they release this thing with a $40 price tag where every other game in this genre is free to play. That makes a lot of fucking sense. And the method for getting money from these games, which they did implement in this too, is from online stores for different skins, for cosmetic shit that you don't necessarily need, but hey, that looks cool and it's only $2. I'll get that. So you can either pay $40 to buy into that system where you have to keep buying, or you can play it for free and buy into it that way. And nobody was like, no, this is a bad fucking idea. Anyway,
we stopped having passionate debates about the games and we started focusing on feelings and safe spaces.
This is my one critique with her, and I've already mentioned it, that she doesn't say why. There was not a guy out there that was like, this company's doing really well, but I kind of need a safe space right now. No dude was doing that shit. This is women shit. This is why men and women need to be in different companies. And women can be over there running their gay little companies into the ground, and dudes can be yelling at each other about what's the right way to go. And again, not all women, before you hate women. No. Laura here is clearly passionate about what she did. Go listen to most of the women in the game industry. It has nothing to fucking do with making a great game. It's literally about putting men in their place or making it a female place because we need more girls here. There's nothing wrong with girls in gaming, but gaming is for guys because guys are the target audience. Guys are the ones who buy this shit. And if women want to come along for the ride, that's great. If they don't, that's also fine. We don't have to try to redesign everything for the women's. I'm sure there's a little boy out there who absolutely fucking loves Barbie. You don't want to put me in charge of Barbie development.
Yeah, no, you want a homosexual.
You want somebody who's passionate about it, not somebody who's like, that's for my granddaughter, dummy. Anyway.
The result is this eggshell culture where nobody says the obvious thing out loud because they're terrified of the HR call. And on top of that, all the layoffs, it's just making it worse.
Now, the layoffs part, you can't say, maybe it is making it worse right now, Jack, because in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of layoffs and stuff, and getting called to HR in the layoff season is probably not a great thing.
Yeah.
But this predates that. When they were in their hiring spree of the 2020s, HR was still a thing. People were still getting called into HR. The examples she gives us, because she's going to give some from her personal life, they predate the current round of layoffs. So maybe it does make it a little worse, but it's kind of a side note that's really not relevant to the conversation. Okay, so I guess I have two disagreements with her.
And it's not just a game
by
problem.
The end of this.
Okay, it's corporate America.
Amen.
HR has always been there to protect the company. That's not news. That part didn't change.
That part did change because they're no longer there to protect the company. They're there to change culture. That's what they're there for. HR, which used to be called personnel, was there to hire people, fire people, and make sure that the company didn't get sued in the hiring and firing part. That's what their original use was. So yeah, it was to protect the company. And then they let women in there who care about things like senior programmer. HR is not your friend. They're not. They're absolutely not.
No, not at all.
What changed is
there is something that's going to come up later, and I don't want to give it away yet. But HR is a power grab by women who couldn't get power other ways.
Leadership has handed the keys to their culture and their studios over to HR.
Why HR should be the chief disruption officer in every organization.
Ugh.
Disruption officer. What is that? What you need? And okay. I know we're talking about the ability to, argue against bad things, and that is a disruption. But when you're talking about just somebody whose job is to fuck things up, that's literally what they're saying here.
Yeah.
Things are going too well. Get a woman in here to fuck it up.
Put more chicks and make it gay.
Yes.
Imagine a world where HR is not just a support function, but a catalyst for innovation.
That's a scary fucking thought.
Yeah, what kind of innovation? More like retrograde.
Well, in fairness, they are driving innovation. The innovation of stupidity, of the eggshell culture, of the, hey, it's more important of what you said or how you said it than what you said. That's a dystopia. Absolutely. If it isn't broken, bring in HR. Yes, 100%.
A world where HR leaders are not thought of as the policy police, but as visionaries shaping the future of work.
No.
Fuck right off with that.
Absolutely not. But did you notice who was saying that? It was a white woman.
So today, I want to talk about how that happened.
Right.
And I want to share some real.
And I'm glad that we have Laura here just as a example that not all white women are retarded. I know I talk about my wife and my daughter, but you guys aren't exposed to them very much. So you just have to take my word at it that they're not retarded. I have an actual example that some white women aren't retarded on the screen.
World examples and ask whether or not there's a way back to an environment where people can just talk about the game and have constructive debate.
Could we? Sure. But in order to do that, we have to fire HR and tell them to go fuck themselves.
I'm okay with that.
Me too. Unfortunately, most of the guys in charge of this are too pussyfied and too worried that they're going to be called a misogynist for pointing out the reality of the world.
Well, I mean, these are people with the power to destroy your entire career. So I get it.
These are the people with the power to destroy your entire company. Granted, a lot of the cancel culture shit has retracted some, but that doesn't mean it's gone away. People like to bring up the bridge stuff for like the DEI. The same shit's happening with feminist crap here. The feminists still run everything. They've just had to walk. I mean, this is the whole thing with woke 2.0. If you thought woke 1.0 was bad, wait till you see 2.0. Like, it's the same stupid shit. You still got men out there refusing to admit reality because a woman might get mad at them, and some pussy ass guy might join her and go, yeah, you suck.
Yeah.
If I don't take your word for it, will Lady Monkey show up on the stream more? Largely, Lady Monkey doesn't show up on the stream because she enjoys it when she's here. And she's even, we were talking about Bearing and Sugar Tits, and she was like, maybe we should do something like that. I'm like, yeah, anytime you want to. But it's one of those things that sounds better to her than actually doing it. So anyway.
Yeah, because once you're doing it, people can just work.
Yeah. Sorry, we apparently have our delay going on, and deal with it, folks.
Examples and ask whether or not there's a way back to an environment where people can just talk about the game and have constructive debate.
I believed in these people. And when human beings are treated in a way that they are capable of more, they rise to the occasion.
That's nonsensical. Some people, when they're treated like they're capable of more, will rise to the occasion. A lot of them don't do anything else, and you gotta make a job for them where they have, like, they're in HR. Give them a job where they don't really do anything important. And it said on the screen, this is how HR used to work. No, HR used to be like, okay, we don't need that person, fire him. Hey, welcome back, bud.
Hey, good to be back. Hopefully.
Excuse me. Mrs. Monkey is too real to be on the panel. Yeah. Plus, I do have an ego, and she's the only one that can really shatter it, and having that happen live is not fun.
If you'd asked me 20 years ago if I'd be making this video, I would have laughed out loud. I loved my HR team. They gave good advice, and they were very helpful. Okay.
That's a trap.
Yeah. And again, 20 years ago, you should have already seen this coming. 20 years ago, they were already in the process of starting with words you can't use and that kind of nonsense. So I get it. Maybe you did have a great HR team at the time, but if you paid attention to what was going on at other companies, you should have been worried then.
Okay, I had some real people problems, and they dug in with me, and we were able to solve them. We had the same mindset. We knew that we were there to serve and support the team.
She's going to give an example here, but before we get to it, HR, let's say she's going to give an example of a guy who's having a hard time. And yeah, maybe you need HR for that. You shouldn't really, as a manager, you should be able to deal with that. Like, hey, Tim, you're screwing up lately. What's going on? And Tim's like, my wife's banging Bob. And you're like, oh, well, shit. You need a week off to go deal with that and get your shit together. HR became a thing. Even back then, in the way she's describing it, it was starting to be used as therapy for your employees rather than, hey, are we going to get sued if we fire this guy who's not working well? Thank you, Evolved Potato. While everyone in chat likes Lady Monkey, and I wouldn't want to insult her at all, but she also married you, so I do have to question it. I tell her all the time I don't trust her judgment because she married me. It's a great argument to make because then she either has to compliment me or just shut up. All right.
The Kobayashi Maru for Lady Monkey.
Damn right.
Making the game. For example, I remembered one guy on my team was totally dropping the ball. I spoke with HR about it. I was coaching him. Eventually, we ended up moving him onto a team that wasn't shipping in the near term. Years later, he was back to shipping, and I found out that what had happened was that he was going through a tough divorce. So HR really helped. They got him.
Sounds like an excuse.
Doesn't it? I mean, so the guy's dropping the ball. So put him on something that's not as important. Okay, but did he drop the ball over there? He worked his way back to being in games that were shipping soon. Cool. But was he a drain then? Because it is possible for you, instead of going to HR, to go like, hey, dude, you're dropping the ball. What's up? A good manager would do that, and you don't need HR to do that for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's uncomfortable. You're a manager, fucker. That's your job.
Yeah, that's why they pay you extra, to do stuff that's uncomfortable.
HR help bullshit. Yeah, I agree. And this is one of the places where you see her being a woman, because by all rights, that guy probably should have been fired. My guess is that he dropped, unless they move him to this other job and he was able to keep up at that one. Like, okay, fine, you can work here. But if he's dropping the ball to the point where you're noticing it, that's probably time to let him go. Like, but he's a people. Yeah, he is. And this is a business where we're trying to get shit done. And this is, again, why men and women shouldn't work together. Because in my world, if I was running that company, he would have been fired for not being able to do his job, despite outside influences. Would you do this for like a drug addict? Dude's coming in drunk every day, and you're like, well, get him on a team where being drunk every day is no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, we don't, that's not how you handle this. It's your job, not your therapy. But in the woman's world, like, we got to figure out the problem. Why has Tim suddenly started not doing his job? Who cares? He's not doing his job. Go up to him and tell him, dude, you're dropping the ball. If you don't pick it up, I'm going to have to let you go. I'm going to have to get somebody in here who can do the fucking job. And instead, you guys made him a drain on somebody else. And like, that's a success story. All right.
Him into a role, a less demanding position, so that he could work through it. It was a win for everyone.
Except for you guys didn't even know what the problem was till years later. How is that a win for him? Anyway.
Fast forward 15 years, and I'm arguing with my HR team because they said posting a job titled Senior Technical Artist was considered offensive. She was worried that it would offend elderly people.
That's what HR is. There's literally no issue with the term Senior Technical Artist, but she's like, I can make a problem here. Hold my latte.
At first, I thought someone was playing a joke on me, but it was real. Now imagine how the technical art lead felt having to have that conversation about.
But so you just did the thing. Imagine how they felt. Are y'all getting the whole thing? Women are all about the feelings. All about the feelings.
They even made a song about it. Feelings, nothing more than feelings.
I just wanted to do my job, but it's hard. Oh, I have a feeling that has something else going on. Look, I've had bad days on the job, bad times in life.
Yeah.
And sucked it up and did my fucking job. Was it easy? No, but I'm there for, work.
Something that was clearly so ridiculous. But it wasn't just my office. It was everywhere. This was a calculated shift happening across the entire HR industry, celebrated at events like Disrupt HR. You see, from my perspective, what happened is that HR decided that the day-to-day work of actually helping people wasn't enough. They wanted a seat in the executive meetings, and they got it.
This is what I'm talking about, where HR is a power grab. These women couldn't go up through the ranks in the traditional way, and they just found an end around, and they're like, well, get into HR. And there's an actual push. We saw the one lady, there's another lady who's going to be coming up where it's like, we should be more important than the CEO.
That's terrifying.
Why?
Now, HR is the woman equivalent of guys that couldn't make it as cops, so they became mall security guards.
Yes. Except for in this case, we then let the mall security guards go run the fucking police department.
Yeah.
Today, most executives have HR sitting in, influencing decisions and driving cultural change. And a lot of them want to run the entire company.
Here we go.
I have a dream. I have a dream that HR is at the top of the organizational chart, and they are either as important or more important than the CEO.
That is terrifying.
I know it's hard to see, but this is a white woman saying it with a white woman on the screen. And I think that's a Rachel Maddow behind him, so I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
But this is some white woman shit. It really is. I think I should be more important than the guy who makes the decisions that keep the company running.
This is what happens with all the self-esteem bullshit.
Yeah.
You think you're more important and valuable than you are. So they try and weasel their way into these more powerful positions that they didn't earn and they don't know anything about. In HR, you don't need to know what the CEO does. You just need to be able to tell him what to do.
It's Arlene's 94th birthday. Arlene,
wow.
I hope this gets played for you. Sweetheart, this one is for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear Arlene.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sweetie. Hope you have a good one. I really do.
Absolutely.
94, man. I hope I make it there.
Yeah, I do too.
Anyway, is she a senior? Is she mad at the notion of senior technical artist?
And I think we can make this a reality. Who is with me? Yes.
See, instead of breaking the glass ceiling, they're just going to build a ceiling over top of that.
Yeah, they're going to put up like one of those bird watcher stations so they can see through the ceiling, bitch about everything.
Right.
And remember, these are people who often have never made any artwork. They've never written code. They've never shipped a game. And
go ahead.
No, they've never done any real work. That's the whole point of HR. It's people that are skillless telling everybody else because they're a bunch of moral nags. They're like the police of vice and virtue in Saudi Arabia.
She's putting this in the gaming industry, but this is the same in all companies. These are people who didn't build shit or do shit or even necessarily know what the company is about. But hey, I got a degree. And now I can tell you how to run your company.
Yeah, I have a degree in moral nagging. Ugh.
Yeah.
Useless.
I really do wish such a degree was useless, but as we've just seen, I mean, it's a way to take over a company.
Oh, I meant as human beings.
No, I get you. You. But in reality, a lot of times when we talk about useless degrees, they actually are useless. You get a degree that lets you go into HR. Yeah, you can go stand in front of a bunch of women and be like, we should run everything and get cheered for it. And the guy who you're saying you should be more powerful than has to be like, well, I mean, she kind of has a point. Because if he doesn't, HR will come after him.
Yeah. No, if you're a CEO, first thing you got to do is wipe out HR and replace them with people that are loyalists and reduce their role and power, because otherwise you're going to get screwed.
Well, in the comments, as I work in aerospace and my company's screwed, think of that guy, the lead guy on the landing on an asteroid, who loses everything because he wore a shirt with women on it that was given to him by a woman.
Yeah. It was a cool shirt too. I liked it.
It was. And like, hey, I know you're smart enough to land a rocket on a fucking moving asteroid, but damn it, that shirt is offensive. How dare you have that shirt on? Marge down in HR is going to take over now. You think Marge can land on an asteroid?
No.
An
asteroid.
HR has become corporate deep state. I mean, yeah, there's the only thing that I would say object to with that is the deep state at least tries to pretend it doesn't exist, where HR is like really open about it.
Yeah, if the deep state were like flamingly gay,
yes,
then it would be like HR.
We're here. Anyway.
Hi, everybody.
Many of them have no real interest in technology or gaming.
So it was an accident that I went into the video game industry. But to answer your question about if I liked games growing up, I never thought of myself as someone who liked games growing up. But like once I entered the gaming industry, I kind of thought back about it. And like I did love playing with like my little Game Boy Advance.
With this power grab?
I didn't think I liked games, but then I remembered that I did.
What's wrong with that chick's face? Does she just have really big cheeks or something?
There's something about her that's off to me, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there's some symmetry issues. Never trust a woman that isn't symmetrical.
The golden ratio is definitely struggling here.
Yeah.
It isn't surprising. Okay, this is how it works in big companies. Everybody wants more influence. That's very natural. The problem is that HR's core job is about reducing risk. And so their focus ends up being about optics and safety, right? Not results, not making great games. And it appears there's this new idea.
I mean, the problem is that even saying that, that their job is reducing risk. If that's true, you know who should be running HR departments? Lawyers. Who is running HR departments? People with like first year psych on their resume. It's people with human resource degrees. It's not people that actually have to deal with the legal consequences of stuff. And that's why so much of HR is retarded. Because it's like, you said senior, and a lawyer would be like, there's nothing wrong with saying senior. None at all. If somebody sues us over that, they're going to lose easily. But Karen down in HR is like, but that could be offensive to some people.
It makes some people feel some kind of way.
And it's much harder to get a law degree than it is to get a degree in HR.
Whinging bitch, yeah.
Yeah.
That's taken over, where HR people think that they know people better than anyone else in the organization.
Now, why HR? Because people are at the heart of every business challenge and every business opportunity that we'll face in the future.
That is such communist thinking. Did you notice where she immediately goes to this is just the HR version of where we should own the company because we make the products.
Yeah, and there is a way for them to seize the means of production this way.
Yep. All comes full circle. Feminism is communism, and make no mistake about it, HR is feminism.
Yeah, which is a branch of communism.
Yep.
I would argue it comes full hammer and sickle.
Fair enough. HR doesn't make anything. That's not true. HR makes tons of problems.
They make problems. They make large unemployment lines. They make people cry. They make devastation upon careers. Yeah, they do a lot.
And we are the experts and people in our organizations.
That's so arrogant.
Right? I'm an expert on people. Well, how'd you get that? Hey, what made you an expert?
or at least we should be.
But clearly, based on the comments I've read and what I've seen in the industry, this is not the case because game makers aren't happy. And it's simple. Makers are happiest when they are making. They don't.
I'm gonna correct you just a little bit here. Makers are happiest when they don't have to deal with bitches in the workplace.
Yeah.
Want endless meetings about safe spaces. Okay, they want to obsess over their art or their code. They don't want an environment where they feel like they're walking on eggshells. And people just...
I do need to push back a little bit on that because of the over hiring of women. There are a ton of women who want exactly this. This is why I keep bringing up that this is a female centric thing, is because if you look at a company like BioWare and you go back to their first pictures that they took of the company, it's all guys. And these days they're putting out pictures that's literally just all females. Like, look at all the women's on our team. And those women, I promise you, are perfectly fine with this because they didn't get into it for the love of the game. They got into it because they can make change by getting women in the industry.
Yeah, and you'll notice the overuse of phrases like feelings or think. They're not, there's no actual logic to this. It's all about feelings and what one person thinks of something. There's no logical pattern to it. It's just, well, I don't like this.
And one of the funniest parts about this whole thing is a lot of this push is the diversity stuff, you know. When we need females in there so it can be diverse, and the females in there and everybody has to think like the females. Because if you don't, then you're out. But, you know, at least there's men and women there now, so it's diverse. The thinking is all the same. This is one of those points that has been beaten to death and is still not understood by the kind of morons who think HR is a good idea.
Yeah.
Can't work that way. It creates environments with no soul and no passion. It broke my heart when I read this comment from an environment artist. I am a yes man, and so are the rest of my coworkers. It feels like I really can't give honest feedback or push back. I've seen so many others fired or written up to the point that everyone stays quiet now so they can keep their jobs. How great of a game are you going to make when you're in an environment that is so toxic that the only way to keep your job is to sit quietly and watch the circus around you?
Yeah. Look, argument for argument's sake is not a good thing, but if you have a decent workplace like this, where let's say that there's a feature you want to put in the game, right? And Bob is like, no, this is a bad feature. And the other guys, Steve is over there like, no, it's a great feature. That's a good argument to have, especially if both of them can articulate why they believe like they do. And then as the lead on it, you make a decision based on that. There's a great line from the show Sports Night. I don't know how many of you know this show. It only ran for 2 seasons. It was a fun show, but Isaac, he's the managing editor of this sports TV show. And he says to somebody else, he goes, I've lived long enough to realize that if you're dumb, surround yourself with smart people. And if you're smart, surround yourself with smart people who disagree. And it's one of the best lines ever said on television. It doesn't get near enough attention for what he said there, but that's how it should be. You should have people who can articulate why they disagree with you, not just people who disagree like, oh, because it's Saturday, because I'm a woman. Having 2 good arguments presented to you and then you having to make the choice is what makes you a good leader. But when everybody's just telling you what you want to hear, the chance of you actually doing something good is very slim.
Well, and we've seen the result of this. Look at some of the games that are coming out. Look at some of the movies that are coming out.
Yeah. Sports Night, yes. And for the record, the first season of it uses a laugh track when they really shouldn't have. Don't hold that against it. All right. And the beginning of season 2 is kind of stupid with what they do with Dan, but the rest of the show is really good.
And it's not just feedback on the work, it hits performance too. Performance feedback from managers. A few years ago, I was having coffee with a friend and he told me this story. He told me that he asked one of his engineers to give him a heads up the next time he had a doctor's appointment because his engineer had disappeared at lunch and missed a deadline, and the rest of the team had to crunch in order to cover for him. Completely reasonable request from my perspective.
Yep. And actually, I would have given that dude a warning, like, you do not leave without telling me. You missed a deadline.
Yeah, that's not a minor fuck up.
No. He's lucky he still had a job after that. And okay, yeah, all right. You got a warning here. Just let me know if you're going to have to be gone because we have a deadline, fucker.
Well, apparently not. My friend was pulled into an HR office and told that that wasn't allowed, that he wasn't allowed to ask his staff to give him a heads up before they disappeared from the office.
Now, I'm going to guess that that's not what HR said exactly, that they probably told him he's not allowed to say, hey, if you have a doctor's appointment, let me go, because the whole doctor's appointment thing has become, oh, you're not allowed to ask about my medical because gay people had AIDS, which is really what that all comes from. For anybody who doesn't know, before guys were butt fucking each other in San Francisco, literally to death, you could ask, hey, do you have a doctor's appointment? Is that what you went to? And now they're like, oh, you can't ask about doctor's appointments. And yeah, you can. You don't. It's not a HIPAA violation to be like, hey, if you're going to the doctor, let me know. Because that's not what kind of doctor. It's not what you're going to see him for. There's nothing HIPAA violation about that. It's just like, if you're leaving, let me know.
Just for the record, hookers are not genital technicians, so
True.
they don't count as doctor's appointments.
And especially when the guy apparently gave the excuse that he was going to the doctor, then you're allowed to be like, well, if you're going to the doctor, let me know.
Yeah.
It's not like he said, hey, I stepped out to see a lady friend. And he's like, well, if you go to the doctor, tell me.
Yeah, it's also not like he was saying you couldn't go to the doctor. Just give me a heads up so I can alert the team.
And again, the HIPAA stuff would actually be about why you're seeing the doctor, not that you're seeing a doctor.
Exactly.
You could be seeing the doctor for an annual checkup, which is nothing that anybody gives a shit about. Anyway.
Or a sexy rendezvous.
And something similar actually happened to me. I had this employee who wasn't performing well. The whole team knew it. I had mountains of email. It had been going on for weeks. I'd spoken to the person. I was trying to coach them through it, but it wasn't working. And my goal was to
fire them.
Yeah. How much coaching do you have to do? I really hate that term too. You're not coaching them. You're telling them how not to fuck up. That's not coaching.
It's become the HR word for managing. I don't like it either, but I get it.
Unless you get to make them run laps, it's not coaching.
I had to coach many people as a Walmart employee, and I get the whole notion of, trying to help them, like, hey, you're fucking this up. But if you're to the point where she said she had tons of emails about this person, the reason your coaching didn't work or managing didn't work is because he knew you were full of shit. He knew there were no consequences to what he was doing. I don't have to work. What are you going to do? Coach me again?
get this person moved into a role that actually took advantage of their knowledge.
She likes shifting people around departments a lot.
She does.
You are exiled to the janitorial department. It's more in line with your skills.
If you can get somebody, it's like, hey, okay, this guy, we made him a coder. He's not really good at coding, but he's really good at writing story. Let's put him over with the story writers. Cool. But what you just told us is that this guy's been fucking up so badly that you had several people. You said you had mountains of email. That's your wording, not mine. And you're like, let's shift him to a different department so I don't have to deal with him. That's what you just said to me. And again, as somebody who worked at Walmart, I saw this a lot where people like, oh, move him over to sporting goods. Like, why? He's a bad employee. Fire him. Oddly enough, never once did it work out where they moved somebody to a different position because they thought it would work out better. Not once.
No, it's just dump your problem on the neighboring department.
Yep.
We're just out of their depth. I had seen them perform in the past, but they were in the wrong role. And my whole team knew it.
That's bad management on your part because you said you spent a long time trying to coach him to be better at something your whole team knew he was bad at.
Yeah, that I could see transferring him to a department if he has a strength there, but how much coaching do you do? How many opportunities does somebody actually get?
Why did it take you so long as a manager to be like, yeah, he shouldn't be here? Anyway, I'm still erring on the side of she probably was just dumping her problem off on someone else.
Yeah, she didn't want to fire somebody, so she transferred them over. Like, here, that's your problem now.
Yeah, firing people, I know I've said fire them many times, and firing people's not fun. I don't know if you've ever had to do it. It's not fun. No matter how much you dislike that person, you're basically telling them, I'd rather you be homeless than here. That's a hard thing to say to people, but you have to think of everybody else who's working there. You have to think about the job that needs done. And as a manager, you have to sometimes do the bad thing.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to be like, no, he sucks in the grill. Put him on counter.
Yeah, sometimes you have to fire people, but you should always try, unless it's an exigent circumstance, say, look, man, you're going to get gone. You better start looking for another job. Your next screw up is done. You know, we're not put up with this crap anymore. You have to give that ultimatum sometimes. I would say as much as possible, you should give them an ultimatum like that, because if you don't, there's no incentive, and then you have to follow through. If they're a bad employee, you can get some people start out really good and then they get lazy or they just don't care. And then you have to remind them that they're expendable. But it really does come down to management style and the personality of the person you're talking to. There were a few people that I was like, yeah, you're just not a good fit for here. Your job's somewhere else now. I'm sorry. I mean, it sucks, but it's best for everybody involved because they're unhappy. They're not going to do the job. You have to fire them. Especially if they're like stealing. We had one guy leave weed on the conveyor belt.
Ooh.
At a store. And the boss, my boss was like, yeah, I'll dispose of that. I'm like, yeah, right. I know how you're going to dispose of that. But we had to fire the dude. And it sucked. He was a really nice guy, but he put his jacket on the belt when he was paying for something for his lunch break, and his bag of weed fell out.
Just imagine Jack or Monk in HR. Oh, I would be the greatest HR director ever. I used to have to play HR quite often because of one manager we had. His name was Michael, and me and him got along really well. But we got along really well because I understood what Michael was. He was somebody who treated everybody like his best friend. And for you women out there, the way men treat their best friend is not a way you ever want to be treated.
No,
and
not at work, especially.
He thought it was really funny to insult people, especially their work. And to him, he was just joking around and joshing. And to them, it was a largely female staff, by the way, because it's Walmart. To them, it was a personal assault against them. And I'm like, he wasn't saying you suck at your job. Michael was too pussyfied to ever say that to somebody seriously. But he thought that just because that's how he would joke with his friends and stuff, that's how you treat everybody. And I tried talking to him many times, like, dude, you got it. But he was the assistant or the co-manager, which is just under the manager. And I'm like 2 ranks below him. So I had no pull. So instead, I had to run around cleaning up messes, going like, no, that's just how Michael is. If he didn't like you, he would try to get you out in a backhanded way. Because he was a Walmart manager, and that's what a lot of them do. Pussies. Anyway.
Yeah.
Instead of helping me land this person like my previous HR would have, they actually decided I was the problem. And so HR pulled.
I agree that you're the problem, but not the way that they're going to say it, because you should have been a good manager and fired him. But anyway.
Me into a meeting. I'll call it a struggle session, really, to pressure me to change my mind, to tell them that the person was no problem and that we weren't going to make any changes. Of course.
I don't know how common this is in all of HR to where they would just blame her for this. This to me sounds like HR has other problems with her, and they thought this was a way to force her out. You know what I mean? That sounds more personal than, hey, this guy can't do the job. You're the problem. That stinks of her causing some other issues. And I'm not saying issues that didn't need to be brought up, but somebody at HR decided she was a problem and they used this as their attack vector.
Yeah.
Of course, I refused because she had no data to contradict what I was saying. But I didn't last that much longer in that role. And I've often thought,
see, somebody was out to get you.
that was the start of the end for me in that.
Oh, no, sweetie. The start of the end was whatever you did before this to piss off that HR person. I ran into this at Walmart, where getting pulled into the office the one day to discuss my bad attitude, why I always looked angry. I was like, when? Give me one example. One example of where you can point to where I had a bad attitude, which, by the way, I could have done off the top of my head, but he couldn't give me a single fucking example. But I had pissed him off much earlier by embarrassing him in front of people, which is why I never got that high up in Walmart. Separate co-managers. This is a co-manager who killed himself, and when they announced it to us, I laughed. I didn't mean to laugh. I wasn't happy he was dead, but he had just got transferred to another store, and me and him hated each other. And so I was so happy the Friday that we're leaving, like, that motherfucker's gone. And we come in Monday, and they're like, Tim died over the weekend. And I laughed because I realized at that point I wasn't allowed to be happy that he was gone anymore. And the store manager, who was really broken up about this, saw me laugh. I was like, oh, fuck.
Well, you just went to the unhireable list.
Yep.
Particular position. So I understand the many comments on the channel from people who are like, I'm not going to push back. I don't want to lose my job. And I agree. You shouldn't. You shouldn't take.
Yes, you should. Maybe not within the company, but speak out against this nonsense. This is part of the problem, is that everybody's so worried about the repercussions of these people who have no real power. The only power HR have is what the managers give them.
Yeah.
And if you start pointing out how fucked up HR is, the managers will start to push back. And we've already seen this starting to happen. Over their heads. The problem with going over their heads is, as we saw in that one clip, a lot of these HR people basically run the company. Everything that gets done has to be run by them.
Well, we've got a system set up where people are so afraid to speak out. They just cede power, or they're so lazy. They're just like, we'll just let HR deal with it and let them do whatever. I don't care.
And that never works out well in the end. So I do agree that maybe within your own company, pushing back, and unless you have a fallback, it might be an issue. But just letting it happen, having a comment on this lady's video, yeah, that's great. But use your voice to point out how fucking retarded this is.
I find it best to have sex with the HR people so that you can complain about sexual harassment and retaliation later on when they try and fire you.
Yeah, look as attractive as you can so that they hit on you and you can be like, oh, bitch did it.
Maybe when you're leaving their office, drop your pants, run out crying, going, no, bad touch.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying it's going to work, but I'm not saying it either.
You really want to have fun? Go to the CEO and complain that HR has targeted you because of your race, sex, or whatever.
Yeah, say they one of them called you, some slur or something.
You don't even have to go that far. Just be like, I feel like they're picking on me, because that's all HR does.
I feel like I'm targeted.
Yeah.
I've been called down there several times. I'm not entirely clear on why. And sometimes they just follow me around and they look at me.
I feel like this is retaliation. There's tons of ways you can get at HR using their own nonsense against them.
Yeah, I worked in an office for a very short period as like a records guy, right? And I learned very early on from one of the other staff, don't leave your lunch in the refrigerator because the HR lady will eat it.
Please tell me I blocked that sneeze.
You got most of it out.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. No, but look, HR will do whatever they can to get away with whatever they can because it's a power grab. They are moral nags, dude.
Sorry, I had to sneeze again.
That risk unless you can afford to do so.
True.
I push back for two reasons. The first was because it was my job. Okay. If the leader isn't going to stand up for the team, who is? And why do you even have that job? And the second,
it's amazing you get that part of the job, but not firing the people who should.
Yeah.
Anyway, HR is above you. Get used to it. Play again. Use their own tactics against them. It's funny as shit to watch.
second most important reason is because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If nobody pushes back, then you end up with what we have today, broken cultures. Okay, broken cultures that my comments are filled with. You have game teams that aren't making great games because they can't discuss what's wrong with them out of fear. And a team that can't discuss the work, they're not going to succeed. Sure, in a big company, it might take a while, but they will eventually fail. And you're seeing it already.
For the record, she's putting up comments on the screen while she's talking and not necessarily reading them. But this is one. When I worked at Ubisoft Massive, I know it's Ubisoft, fuck off, which is a Swedish studio. I was shocked at how little anyone defended their own ideas or criticized others. Every meeting would end with the first idea that was suggested, unless someone else suggested a second idea, in which case it ended with that one. It just felt pathetic. No one dared argue. No one was willing to take responsibility for their own ideas. I think The Division speaks the results crystal clear. And The Division is a game from Ubisoft, which I have played. I played 1 and 2. And 1 was a pretty fun game. And 2, well, let's just say this comment really hit home when I read it. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because yes. Division 2 is just a bundle of bad ideas. Go ahead, bud.
That's what I've heard. Now, if you work at a company like this where you have HR lording over you, start saving your money because you're eventually going to get hit by their radar. They have to hit everybody. It's just in their nature. You eventually run out of prey. Start saving your money because either that company isn't going to last, HR is going to target you, or you'll accidentally screw up.
Well, I just also want to point out that this is another very female thing. Sorry, ladies, I'm not meaning to be mean to you. But the idea that you just go along with the crowd, this is a female thing. Where men, the leaders of men are the ones who stand up and take bold stances. And the leaders of women are the one who get all the other women to just like them more. You don't want to be the one who's bitching and yelling.
Might take a while, but they will eventually fail. And you're seeing it already. So things have definitely changed over the last 20 years. And that's because HR decided they didn't want the day-to-day work of serving the team. They wanted to be strategic. They wanted to control the culture. And
Again, it's women finding a way to break the glass ceiling without breaking the glass ceiling, without getting the job.
Without doing the work or putting in the time or the training.
Too many leaders said, okay, sure, go right ahead. You can hear it in their voices, in their own words at events like Disrupt HR and in industry talks. They talk about becoming the chief disruption officers, taking over culture and moving from order takers to the people who decide how the whole company runs.
Yeah. I mean, the notion that the conference is called Disrupt HR, and they're not talking about disrupting HR, they're being disruptive from HR. That anybody from your HR who's like, hey, there's this conference called Disrupt HR, and I'd like you to pay for me to go to it. You'd be like, yeah, that's called a severance package. You do not keep that person employed with you.
They're not hiding the power grab, okay? Nope. They're proud.
Exactly. That's what I said earlier when he said it was the deep state. They're not even pretending. This is all about this. This literally is the feminist nonsense of invading and taking over and changing the culture. Except for in this case, we're talking about doing it to corporations where you are destroying the livelihoods of hundreds, if not thousands of people, because Karen down in HR doesn't like the word senior. How did these morons get such power?
People cede it to them.
It's because men are pussies. Stop bending to this nonsensical female-driven bullshit. Trust me, there's plenty of women who will still like you.
Out of it. And this little conference, Disrupt HR, it has exploded across the globe. And we've seen the results. Honest disagreement got labeled dangerous. The creative weirdos who obsess over games until 4 a.m. either got filtered out or learned to stay quiet. And what's left is a lot of people walking on eggshells. Great game.
They replaced the men with the women. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And this is, again, she just drives me nuts by not pointing this out. There's nothing wrong with saying that this is female-led or that this is because of how females tend to interact with each other in the world around them. The whole walking on eggshell thing is for women. It's not for dudes.
No. Can we be really brutally honest here? Women are not typically the innovators.
No.
Of society, of technology, of anything. They're more play along to get along. And we'd still be in mud huts if women ran everything. Because they don't want to, I don't know, wooden huts? Oh, that's crazy. That could be dangerous. Think of the fire hazard. It's that kind of limiting mentality. And I understand it. It's, you want to play it safe because you have babies to worry about and all that. But it doesn't work real well in industry where you're trying to create something, where you're trying to build something. That's why very few women go into the STEM fields or any kind of like computer science fields. They just typically don't think that way.
Well, those fields don't care about your feelings at all. 2 + 2 is 4, no matter how you feel about it being 4. And the same thing goes with how you write code or anything logical like that. It doesn't give a shit how you feel. And you shouldn't either when you're in a business that's doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I had an HR lady once that said the N-word. She was cool. Depending on why she said it, maybe I agree. Anyway.
Have always needed friction.
Like, share,
but let me be clear, not toxicity, not personal attacks, just honest debate about the work. This isn't good enough. This idea is broken. We can do better. A developer on my channel put it perfectly. Small teams that get along don't even call it friction. It's called Tuesday. That used to be normal.
And again, this is why I brought up that you and I have had contentious disputes here before. Sure. We just disagreed on something and each had our own point of view on it and expressed it and then moved on with our day because It's still the show we're doing, and we still like each other. But you can't have, like, some of the conversations you and I have had, the more contentious ones. If there was a chick, they would have left the show. Can't believe you disagree with me like you're public. and I know one. Anyway.
You're not wrong. I know who you're referring to.
Little inside baseball there. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but we can act like professionals. We actually do like each other. Hopefully, he didn't back me up on that one, guys.
Oh, I do. I was just saying in chat. Somebody said SDA. That's not who I'm talking about. Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry.
No, but you can disagree with someone, not hate them for it. It doesn't have to be career ending. That's why I'm glad we don't have these problems. We have jobs where we could talk and disagree and talk to other people. Lots of people have come on the show that have disagreed with us about stuff, and it's no big deal. It's just, okay, no big deal. Somebody isn't running and tattling to corporate mommy and trying to get one of us thrown off the air.
Yeah.
This isn't Opie and Anthony. This isn't. So we're not a bunch of crybabies around here. Also, because we're not corporate, we need your support. Like, share, subscribe.
You guys want to go complain to HR on me? It's me.
Yeah, he's HR.
Good luck.
Feathers got ruffled in a meeting. You'd grab the two people afterwards and you'd work it out. Get some apologies if needed and a commitment to do better.
Say Augie's going to have to commit to something.
You definitely need to have a thick skin.
But look, it's not hopeless.
Not anymore. You don't need that thick skin anymore. All you need is to have the right complaint.
People have become such crybaby narcs.
Yeah.
Like, toughen up, you pussies. They wouldn't have survived 1998, let alone 1950.
And it doesn't have to stay that way. Some companies are actually figuring it out. The CEO of Bolt fired his entire HR department.
Good for him. And it is
That's
shocking.
A smart move.
It really is. And he says something later on that I'll disagree with, but let's just hear his story.
And, we had an HR team, right? And that HR team was creating problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's what HR does.
That didn't exist.
And in what regard?
And those problems disappeared when I let them go.
And this is the way.
The audience laughed there, but literally HR's job these days is to find problems that don't exist. This is why I compare it to gain of function. Yeah. I mean, the example of the senior, if you needed a better example than that, I don't know what I can do for you, but like elderly people might be upset that you use the term senior. Well, then tell those elderly people to fuck right off. Clearly,
it's sort of like,
I don't want them working for me if they're so fucking thin-skinned that they get offended at senior. When it's not even talking about elderly people in that context. Anyway, go ahead.
That's a good thing you're not making a high school simulator. A freshman, right? Junior, or sophomore, junior, that other one. What do you call that? It's sort of like HR walking around the building and being like, oh, that fire extinguisher's red. Red's the color of blood. We can't associate that connotation. Repaint them.
They're making more work so they seem essential. That's half right, Faithless, but you have to remember that there is the agenda behind it too. It's not just so that they seem more essential. Like, they are the saviors. That's part of this is I'm the savior. I'm the one that's going to make this place safe for you.
Yeah,
by firing you for using the wrong terminology that there's literally nothing wrong with.
If somebody approaches you and says, I'm going to make things safe for you, run. Yeah. Okay, that's crazy. There's something weird going on.
Hey, right? We need more of this kind of courage. We need leaders to take back their teams. Hire people who still want to make great games. Make it safe for them to debate and tell the truth about the work.
Hire men. Real men. That's who you need to hire.
Right now, you have all these talented people biting their tongues and going completely numb. It's not sustainable. Okay, the games are suffering for it. The players. Today, we're going to look at the.
I did not mean to do
My
that.
community has
Stop
been
that
calling this out
right
for
at the
months.
end, you little bitch. Sorry. Sorry for calling you a little bitch. That wasn't very nice. I forgot why I was pausing there.
And tell the truth about the work. Right now, you have all these talented people biting their tongues and going completely numb.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Again, it does need to be pointed out that because of the way things have done, there are a whole lot of people who are absolutely fine with this, and they're called women. And you cannot fix this problem without fixing the woman problem. And the woman problem is that women want this shit. They want the safe space workplace where nobody ever hurts my feelings. And you know what you do with them? You show them that there's other jobs out there.
Yeah.
You cannot fix the way HR is right now, especially in gaming, with the massive amount of women that have been moved into these spaces. Show me the indie team. I can show you several indie games that are male-led, literally in many cases, all by themselves. This guy decided to make a game. Where are the successful women ones doing that? Monk's trying to solve the woman question. I absolutely am. The WQ. Where are the really successful indie game studios that are run by women? Where are they?
Depression Quest. Oh.
Yeah. This comes down to a male versus female thing. And again, I'm not saying you can't have any women in there, but the ones that are in there because they wanted to get representation of women up, they all need to be fired. Every fucking one of them. Any one of them that has ever said that they got that job or wanted that job because they wanted to show little girls that they could do this. Fire them.
Well, we've put such an emphasis on comfort. You should be comfortable at work. Life isn't comfortable. Sometimes you have arguments. Sometimes there's going to be somebody says something crass. You can't walk around like Bubble Boy. It's not realistic. But they have this in their mind and they will destroy anything in their path for their sense of comfort.
And again, it's mostly women. For the record, because I have been saying this about women, there are some bitch men out there who do this, but nobody likes them and nobody has any problem if you point out that they're bitch men.
Yeah.
The ones who get away with it are the women. And sorry, we've seen over and over again how detrimental bringing a bunch of women in is to game companies and frankly to all companies. Sorry. Women, go ahead and make your own companies. And I know my daughter is probably listening to this, but my daughter is one of the exceptions I'm talking about. She is way more hardcore than I am. I've had people like, what would your daughter think about what you're saying? My daughter would probably look at me and go, say it right, pussy. Because she is
come on, Nancy, step it up.
Right. She's way more hardcore than I am. Now, my wife's the opposite. She's way nicer than I am. But there are women out there who can work in this stuff. And it's the women who didn't have to realize that they liked games. They actually liked games. I like games. I want to go make a good game. That's the woman you want to hire. The one who's like, I want to be an example for all the other little girls out there. That bitch should be working a fry station at most. At most. Anyway.
It's not sustainable. Okay, the games are suffering for it. The players can feel it. And I think it's time for a change.
You do realize they're talking to a room of HR leaders.
That's why
they're very, very curious.
That's why I prefaced multiple times reading the room. I can't say that I would advise the same in a large company.
Oh, I can. I would absolutely advise the same at a large company because the HR department at a large company is a much bigger problem than the one at a small company. You know what I mean? She worked at Xbox. She worked for Microsoft. That's a massive company, and she gave us examples of their HR being absolutely retarded. Don't get rid of the retards. No, go ahead and fire them. Get rid of them. And even then, we saw him like, I'm reading the room. He should have looked them all in the eye and said, your job is useless. Go get a real one. Be a man, motherfucker.
You
fired your
drain on society.
Yeah. You fired your whole HR department because they were the problem. And you don't have the balls to stand up in front of a room full of the problem and tell them that's what they are.
He wanted to get out alive.
Fair enough. But he's like, oh, this is going to go viral. Anyway, I do want to play one clip. This is from another one of her videos. This one's called The Power of Friction, Reclaiming the Soul of Game Devs. And I just liked what this guy said. And here.
If one disagreement is going to make you write someone off forever, you're going to live in a very, very small circle, and it's going to be a bubble. People only agree with you 100%. And let me just tell you, you're not going to get better games out of that little bubble.
And look.
And it's the same for all. And this is what HR does. Like, hey, you're not allowed to have disagreements because it might upset somebody. Show me the company that has made better products because HR got involved. I'm willing to learn. Where are they? Tim Kaine, the father. Monkey. Tim Kaine, the father of Fallout. I know I've seen him before. His name never sticks with me. He's got a YouTube channel of his own where he goes over problems with the games industry, and I agree with a lot of what he says. But there specifically, I mean, she kind of hit on this on the HR video where, like, you're not allowed to have disagreements. You're not allowed to. And he's right. If you don't allow disagreements, then you're just going to have shit because the bad ideas are going to get through. Now, having disagreements doesn't mean the bad ideas won't get through, but hopefully somebody is interjecting and being like, wait a minute, that one's a bad idea. And that's the guy you give a raise to when you realize that he was right.
Yeah.
There's countless examples I could give from my own life where, like, hey, that's a bad idea and management went ahead with it anyway. Or, hey, that's a bad idea and management, oh, you're right, we didn't think about that.
Cracker Barrel.
Both cases are fine. As the leader, you do have to make the final decision. You don't want to just give in. This is what we saw in the one example where the guy was like, nobody disagreed with anything. You don't want that either. But this is largely because of women entering the workforce. Sorry, it just is. And Bethesda ruined Fallout. I disagree because I don't think Fallout is ruined. I think Fallout has some issues. One, Fallout was never meant to be a first-person kind of game. It's especially with like the targeting system. It's specifically made for isometric 2D, and storytelling's a lot easier in that kind of instance than it is in a first-person real-time kind of shooter thing. So, and I didn't mind Fallout 3 or 4. I'm not as in love with New Vegas as so many others are. One, I hate Oblivion's their codependence on always having a team with you. I fucking hate that. Every game they make is like, hey, you can hire soldiers to go with you. And if you don't believe me, go look through their catalog. Every fucking one of them has that. And I feel like that was a detriment to Fallout. I know. How dare me speak badly of that middling game.
You're a monster.
But I don't think they really ruined it. And I think a lot of what they've done is good. But it's Bethesda, and a lot of what they do is bad. So it's just, I think the writing has gotten so bad. You know why? Go look up who writes their games now. Lever Action, thank you so much. That is very generous. Monkey, you and I have several disagreements, but I've never taken it personal or felt butthurt about it. Of course, I was right each time, so that makes it easy. And it makes it easy not to be upset. However, most women can't handle disagreement. Yeah. Did you just call yourself a woman there? Because you said, however, most women can't.
Dave. No, because he was saying he was right. Not that he was wrong and couldn't accept it.
1 second. First of all, as the one with the microphone, I'm always right. That's just the way things are. Because your next one I can read is, I was wrong. Monkey's always right. He's always right. But no, thank you for that donation. And again, I hate that I have to have this conversation the way that I do, because it is generalizing women. And I do feel the need to constantly be like, but there are exceptions. There are plenty of women that could get into the game industry and do well there. Many of them just have no interest in it. But this comes anytime you force people in, or it's weird to say force in, because these women are forced into the gaming industry, but it's not like somebody's doing it at gunpoint. It's like the companies are like, well, we have to have women. And so they start just hiring any woman off the street. Not ones who have proven that they can do the work, not ones that have proven they like gaming. It's just women. And when you're doing that, you're going to get women who don't give a shit about what you're doing. The same as if you hired me to work at a purse store. You know how much I care about purses? Not at all.
Yeah. I've worked at a purse store. I didn't care about it at all.
Yeah.
I did good, though.
I'll do my job as best I can, but I don't give a rat's ass. Like, hey, which purse should I get? Like, that one has a strap on it.
That one's sparkly. You should get that. Women are like raccoons.
I don't fucking know. You can't just force people into these positions and then expect it to work out the same. And this all comes from the notion that men and women are the same, and we're just not. We're not. The way we handle things, the way we approach things, again, generally speaking, we don't handle things the same. And I always come back to this example because it was portrayed as such a good thing. It was showing women in the military, and they're talking about ammo boxes. They said, when a man needs to move an ammo box, he just picks it up and puts it on his shoulder. But women are far more evolved, and they cooperate. So 2 of them will carry it. I'm like, that's great, unless one of them gets shot.
Yeah, that nobody has any ammo.
Yeah, but they portrayed it as this positive thing because women work together. They cooperate. And in a lot of places, that's great. When you're talking about moving ammunition in war, probably not the place you need that. It's kind of like the firefighter thing, right? Fireman carry 200 pounds or whatever it is. And the chick has to drag a bag of flour. Well, that's great as long as you only weigh as much as a bag of flour and you don't need lifted over anything.
Yeah. Ironically, her first impulse is to save the kitchen.
Yeah, right. It's like, I got to bake a cake.
I could use this.
There's this fundamental retardation that is set in our society that says men and women are the same. We're not. Even in instances like like that lady there, I agree with her on so much of what she said, but how fucking wrong was she to never point out that this is largely because of women entering the spaces? And that's what it is. It's undeniable that that's what it is. You know how many HR departments there were before 1980?
None.
Yeah, it's all because women came into the workforce and we had to start catering to women. Like women can be in men's spaces as long as we change them into women's spaces. That's what it was. This is this idea that is permeated. No, men and women are the same. If you take this woman and give her the gaming job, she'll do just like that guy who actually likes games. No, she won't. It's amazing to me. If you want to see the difference between men and women, it is amazing how many women get upset at the notion of a guy who has an apartment, and in his apartment, he has a bed on the floor. He's got a lawn chair and then a $3,000 TV with a gaming system. And they're like, is this okay? And I don't know, a single man is like, what a pig. But women be like, how come he doesn't? There's no duvet cover. I am fairly certain, and I'm going to go on the record on this. No man has ever been introduced to the concept of duvet cover by anything other than a woman.
Yeah, I'd never heard of a duvet before I was like 33.
No furniture. What do you mean no furniture? I said he had a lawn chair.
Yeah, and a bed.
And a bed. So, duvet. I ain't French, but you spelled it right. Explain that, Frosted.
Yeah, it's called a blanket.
Yeah. I get how pretty women can make things look, right? And it's nice. I get it. I do. But if it were up to me, like my bed would have a white sheet and I'd have a white sheet on top that I slept under. I don't need it to look pretty. The mattress would be on the floor because why the fuck do I care? You know what I mean? I have a bed frame because of my wife, not because I need one.
Yeah, I inherited my bed frame and the bed, and the blankets are old Vietnam era wool blankets.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they are fucking awesome. They're wool.
My mother-in-law made a blanket one time that had a wool army blanket in the middle and then a patchwork quilt on one side. And on the other side, she took the softest, coolest sheet I've ever felt in my life. And she sewed them together. So it's like a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
And it was the greatest blanket ever.
Sounds pretty awesome.
Oh, it was so nice because it was cool because of that sheet. It stayed cool, even though it kept you severely warm because of that army blanket. So you got the army blanket thing without the scratchiness. Oh, I love that blanket. I was so sad when it fell apart. And then my mother-in-law tried recreating it, but she didn't use the right sheet. So instead, it just kept warmth in. And she'd lay under it for like 10 minutes and then need an air conditioner, even though it's like 10 degrees outside. Anyway, we need to get back to actually being willing to say that men and women are different. We just are. And there's nothing wrong with it. That doesn't mean there's not some overlap and that there's not outliers. That's the kind of nonsense that really annoys me. Is it's such women thinking to be like, oh, you're saying there's no women who could make games? Did I say that?
Nobody said that.
By the conversation, you should be able to pick up the idea that I'm speaking generally and not in individual cases. Because again, I used a female from gaming as the video. Fuck. But we have to go to that extreme, and they go to that extreme because their nonsense doesn't make sense if you actually think about it. Like, men and women are different. Are you saying no woman is manly? Oh no, there's a bunch of manly bitches out there. Most of them aren't, though. Most of them aren't. Just saying. Is this a family stream? They all are, of course. Anyway, Jack, was there something else I wanted to talk about? I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about. I just don't remember what it was. It feels like another one of those tangent things of mine.
Oh.
No, I don't care about those two pussies. Oh, it was this one. Sorry, guys, we got to get into Israel, but I don't really care about Israel in this context. We're only bringing it up because that's what they were discussing in this clip. This is some congressman from somewhere I don't care about. And he's on a local news channel, and this happens.
Israel is committing a genocide in
That's
Gaza.
incorrect. That is factually incorrect.
It has
That's
been regarded
propaganda.
by the United Nations and Amnesty International and even Israeli human rights organizations, including B'Tselem. There's
The
a number
definition of genocide in the UN, the UN has said this, does not apply to what many people might think as a disproportionate wartime action.
That's enough to make the point. But I love how many people is like, oh, the UN said it's a genocide. You know that China and Cuba are both actively on the UN Human Rights Council?
Yeah, Iran was on there for a while too. They'll let anyone sit on those councils.
It's just amazing to me how many people point to the UN as this arbiter of whether or not something is bad. I usually do it because I have done it before, Jack, but I do it in a even these fuckers say it's bad, where this guy's like, there's some kind of fucking authority. Literally, China was committing genocide while they were on the Human Rights Committee.
Yeah. Yeah. They're probably still doing that with the organ harvesting from the Uyghurs.
Yeah. And these are the people like, but the Israelis who he goes on to say that the Israelis were indiscriminately bombing, which there is literally no proof of. And she calls him out on that too. Like, that's factually incorrect. And it is. It's factually incorrect. But the important part to me is that how many people point to the UN as anything other than the shithole of nations coming together and getting nothing done. Nothing done. To our point here, the UN had Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn up there to talk about how bad people like me are in gaming.
Yeah.
You would not you not believe how they call me a slut online just because I gave my pussy out to get good reviews on games. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Yeah, look, the UN is a giant waste of money, and it's mostly our money.
Yep.
So it's a bunch of parasites freeloading off of us like usual.
I think the UN should be moved to some place like Somalia.
Yeah, I say give it to Uganda. They've earned it.
Let these assholes who, instead of coming to New York and coming into this giant air-conditioned building in prime real estate, let them go show me how much they actually care about world peace as they dodge bullets to have their discussions. Go prove you care, motherfucker. The UN is such a joke, man.
Yeah, I don't know why we waste our money on that.
But because of World War II, man.
Oh, yeah, just because it was the ego project of the League of Nations founder, Woodrow Wilson. Not Andrew Wilson. Woodrow Wilson's entire thing was like, we should avoid this. Conceptually, it's not a bad idea, but the execution has been terrible. It hasn't done anything it was intended to design to do.
The whole notion was that if countries get together and just talk things out, there won't be war.
Yeah, because nobody lies. Oh, China.
There's one thing to be like, hey, we need to get everybody together in one space to have this conversation. We don't have to do that anymore. They could have these conferences over Zoom.
Yeah.
Why are we wasting so much time and money on people who literally let Anita Sarkeesian come in and give us a speech?
Yeah, well, look, they're more than happy to let anyone give a good speech as long as it's on the American dime.
Sure. And all of the people who, because especially when it comes to the Israeli thing, like the UN said Israel was bad. Yeah, they did. They've also put people who are literally in the middle of the genocide on the Human Rights Council, which, by the way, they didn't talk about at the UN.
Well, why would they want to do that?
There's no denouncing China there.
Half the people in the UN are a bunch of scumbags that are more than willing to murder their own people, so they don't have a problem with it. So why bring it up and create a spotlight on it?
Hold on, I got to address this. Almost bought pillow sheets at Ross today. You are the only other person that I know of right now that uses the term pillow sheet.
What the hell's a pillow sheet?
It's a pillowcase.
Oh.
When I was a kid, we called them pillow sheets. And I mentioned that to Lady Monkey a couple months ago. Like, when I was growing up, this was called a pillow sheet, but now it's a pillowcase.
You also say soda, you savage.
I do say soda because I know how the fucking world works.
Nope, it's pop. Real quick, though. Thank you, Evolved Potato. I just want to correct one thing. China was committing a genocide. It is doing multiple genocides on multiple peoples at the same time. That's true. Just ask Nepal and Tibet. At the same time, plus it's not duvet or comforter. It's called a doona. That's the only name a real man would use. No, a real man would call it a blanket. Because that's what it is. It's a puffy blanket. The puffy blanket goes on top.
I can give you comforter, but that's about as far as I'll go.
Yeah, my understanding is a duvet is slightly different than a comforter, but I don't care about any of that shit.
Me neither.
I just want to be warm when it's cold out and comfortable when it's hot out. I don't really care beyond that. You can call it whatever nonsense you want. I've never heard the word doona. That sounds like some yub shit from your Abo people, but I don't know. That might be some kind of secret word that's unlocks a demon box of some kind.
Play Zappa. What? Why? Is that in regard to the pillowcase? For the record, those of you who are making fun of pillowcase, you're making fun of my dead mom. She's the one who taught me that term. How dare you?
I've never heard of pillow sheet.
Pillow sheet is how we said it. Yeah, and if you think about it, it's a good descriptor. It's a sheet you put on your pillow.
Yeah, well, your pillow goes in it. So I mean, wouldn't pillow vagina be more accurate?
I mean, if you want to call it a pillow vagina, sure, but I would wash my pillow if it smells like that.
Yeah, I've lost most of my sense of smell thanks to COVID, so probably won't bother me too much.
Silly American doesn't know what a doona is. When you first said it, I actually thought of what's the one that hippie chicks do instead of a doula? Is that what it is instead of a doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guilt tripping manipulator. Damn Skippy. That's why I always win.
Doona is also the name of a company that makes car seats and strollers, apparently.
I'm sorry. Faithless, I'm glad you said that because I didn't realize. Normally when I do a sympathy thing like that, I point out I'm just kidding. For anybody new here, yes, my mom is dead, but I'm not actually offended. I got to give that disclaimer. I always forget. Sorry about that. Somebody sitting there, oh my God, I can't believe they're so mean to his dead mom. Sorry, she can take it. What did we learn tonight?
I learned that I hate most people and we shouldn't let women run things.
I think there's things you can let women run. It just shouldn't be companies or gaming studios or anything that has to do with business because they're generally not good at it. And it's not lost on me that the HR thing is a thing because women got behind it. And we started the show talking about a woman who killed her kids and women are getting behind her. This is dangerous. This is some dangerous shit. And we saw the same thing with Luigi Mangione. We didn't talk about this, but of course, when Hassan talks about Luigi's guilty plea, his whole audience loses their, he's such a hero. That's some women shit thinking right there.
It's commie women thinking. I saw a video. I think it's on my X timeline. This lady was being interviewed and she was like, I went back and forth as to whether or not he really did it. I thought he might be being framed. Like,
was it Candace Owens?
No, it was some other retard. It's like, how are you this stupid? Like, you're not even ignorant. You're lazy and dumb.
There are women out there who are saying that Lindsay Clancy's husband is the one who actually killed him. He wasn't even in the fucking house.
There's an inordinate amount of people saying that, and it's very disturbing. I don't know if it is chicks love unibrow with those thick caterpillar eyebrows or what, but there is some unnatural shit going on these days, and I'm really, really disgusted by it.
Mr. Hughes says what he learned is that Karens want to take over and they don't care what they fuck up. Well, that's true.
Yeah, that is true. Well, like I said, we'd still be in mud huts if we let some of these people in charge.
Yeah.
It's disgusting because they're so concerned about trivialities. They can't see the broader implications of their actions, or they don't care, or both.
They don't care. especially when we're talking about in the HR thing, or you know what? Not even especially that. When we're talking about just feminism in general, feminism starts as equal. We need to be equal. Fuck it, fine, you can vote. And then they're like, but we need to be able to stay out after dark and fuck whoever we want. We're like, fine, be a whore. We don't care. And then it became, we need to turn down the air conditioning because I wear a skirt to work and that guy in a jacket over there, I don't give a shit if he's warm. Like, wait, back up. How did we get to, we need to be equal to, you get to set the temperature? That's a real thing for anybody who thinks I'm joking. That was a real push for a while, but same with the man spreading or any other nonsense. Women should get the kids because they're women. Who gives a shit if they can actually provide for the kid? Just take his money and then she can. You know what I mean?
Well, you can always go on welfare, right? Because that's working out real well.
It is all about just women power. That's all it is. It's about women controlling everything. And some of them don't even hide it. I mean, some of them, they pretend it's a joke, but what about a world without men? Good luck on that, bitch. I think we should outbreed them. I mean, we're a little bit outnumbered, Jack. There's a little bit more women than there are men, which is why women really shouldn't be allowed to vote and have it count. Because I do think they should vote. I do think in the spirit of how I think they should be able to vote is that their ballots should look like a Denny's menu and they have to check them off with a crayon.
Wow.
What?
Nothing.
I just want to be honest with them about what I think of their opinion.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
It's annoying to me that we have let the feelings become what dictates how we do things. I feel bad about that. I don't really give a shit. And again, I've talked about this before. At this fucking meme I saw one time on Twitter, it was on not YouTube, Facebook. That's the one before that. It says, no feelings are invalid. I was like, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Please say that to my face and see how hilarious it turns out.
If you feel like you're 6 foot tall, but you're only 5'2", your feelings are wrong. Feelings can absolutely be wrong. It doesn't mean you're not feeling them. It's a real feeling, but it doesn't make it a correct feeling. Like if you feel like I hate you and I don't hate you, then you're wrong. That's just wrong.
I feel like there's a K-pop band out there that's in love with me, so it must be true.
Yep, they all want to hump you, so go get them.
Yeah, and they want me to come get them in my fake tour bus that has their name and logo on it. Then I'm going to drive them to my love shed. Yes.
And here's another thing. You can have very real feelings that are valid feelings, and it's irrelevant, right? Like, I feel like you're not listening to me. No, you're absolutely right. I'm not listening to you, but I'm not listening to you because your opinion doesn't matter right now. Like what you're saying is stupid, so I don't care. Yeah, I'm not listening to you. You were right to feel that way. I don't know what to tell you. And by the way, if you start talking to people like that, especially women, it is funny to watch their face. Try to have a logical argument with a woman, and it's funny as fuck. Like the last argument me and Lady Monkey got into, she starts taking the conversation off crooked. I'm like, no. We can get to that if you want to, but let's deal with the first part first. Let's stay on this topic. And it's amazing how quickly the argument will end if you do that. And it was like, but back in 1982, you said this. I go, okay, yeah, we can talk about that in a little bit. Let's talk about what's happening right now. Let's talk about that insane shit you just said. Look at a woman and repeat her conversation to her and then say, make that make sense and see what happens. For the record, you do have to not care if you get pussy ever again.
Yeah. You can't say that to someone you're hoping to bang.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you can say it to your wife because she'll eventually get over it. But like, if you're in a dating situation, maybe take my advice and tone it down a little bit. But otherwise, yeah. You can do that same thing arguing with any lefty. Ask them to make it make sense and put it into logical terms, and they can't do it. They will inevitably try to take the argument somewhere else. That goalpost will move so fast. Or don't tell them you care. What do you mean? Oh, sorry. Maybe I missed something there. It's okay to care, and it's okay to take feelings into account, but feelings can't override reality. And that's the problem that we have here. Like, there are people who get pissed off if you're like, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Because when you say, I'm sorry I made you feel that way, you're not apologizing for what you said. You're apologizing to them that the way that you said it or the way that they took it was wrong. And like, but you're not apologizing. Like, no, I'm not apologizing because I still stand by what I said.
Exactly.
But that's you need to apologize to me for what you said. But I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't say anything wrong.
I'm sorry you're a giant baby.
Yeah, me and my wife were talking the other day, and we were discussing how hoary some woman was dressed. And the way the conversation came out, for half a second, she thought I was saying women deserve to be raped if they dress that way. And I was like, no. That's not what and in that, like, no. What I'm saying, what I was talking about is how society perceives them as whores for dressing that way. And I'm like, it is their fault that society looks at them like whores. Dressing like that will make society think you look like a whore. You can't then be upset that society thinks you look like a whore. Like, oh, you can't judge me for showing my vagina in public. Well, yeah, actually we can. And you knew we would judge you for that going into it. So if people are calling you a slut because you're dressing like a slut, that's your fault. And that's what I was talking about. But she thought that I was saying that they deserve to be raped, that it's their fault if they get raped. I'm like, no, whole different story. If you run around dressed like a whore, people are going to think you're a whore. Just like if you run around dressed like a clown, people are going to think you're a clown. You don't get to be like, hey, just because I have this bozo wig and red nose on, you don't get to say I'm a clown. Like, okay, maybe you don't actually clown, but you dress like one. I mean, this is the Dave Chappelle thing. You're wearing a whore's uniform. So yeah, because me and my wife, this is something as a 51-year-old man. There's a lot of times I go into public, I'm like, oh fuck, I have to look over here because there's a little girl standing over there with her ass cheeks hanging out. Have you paid attention to how short shorts are for women these days?
Yeah, it's borderline obscene.
And they're making these for children. Like, and people are letting their kids wear this shit. And like, yeah, you guys need to cover your child's ass up when you take them into public. And my wife, she's like, well, this is all they're selling to kids. And I get that. And, like, hey, these are the styles of the day. Well, this is where you be a parent and be like, I guess we're shopping at Goodwill to get some of that older shit that covers your butt cheeks.
Yeah. We don't want to tempt all the degenerates and Muslims out there.
No shit. Bunch of fucking pedo bait in the Walmart girls section these days. Oh, it's fucking gross. I got 5 granddaughters. I don't want to see any of them dressed like that.
Right.
And it's not because I'm a prude. It's because I don't want somebody stealing my grandchild. I'm not quite to the burqa phase, but I'm getting close. It's not the only style. Stop. You're right. It's not the only style, but it is the prevalent style. And it is amazing how much of it there is. Because when I first noticed it, it was actually because of this excessively large woman wearing shorts that were clearly not meant for excessively large women. And her butt cheek was hanging out. And then I just happened to, and my wife, she's like, well, that's the style. I'm like, oh, yeah, but Nobody wants to see cottage cheese out of cut off shorts. But then I noticed that there was a little girl that she maybe 13 wearing similar thing. I'm like, shouldn't there be cops around?
Is Chris Hansen going to pop out?
And then she pointed out, like, no, that's kind of the style that they're going for these days. And we now play a game when we go to like Walmart or something and we're in the girls section or whatever, how short the legs are on the shorts for little girls. You'd probably actually be surprised how hard it is to find shorts that just go down to the thigh. They're basically thong shorts these days. I was like, God damn. Daisy Dukes at 400 pounds. Yeah, I'm still haunted by the image. I have my eyes closed right now, and I don't know why, because I'm staring at that horrible ass. That's just pain I'm inflicting on myself. That's another thing. Fat people used to know, hey, nobody wants to see you're fat. And then the fat acceptance movement is like, everybody's beautiful.
Ugh, that's such a lie.
Nobody finishes that statement. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. And in their own way could mean that beauty needs covered. Everybody's beautiful. I can show you some ugly bitches right now. That's nonsense. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point because that's what I do. Jack, I think we're going to wrap up here because, yeah. Can't bitch about women too much more. For the record, I love women. And if you know me, you've been listening to this show for a long time, you know my life is run by women. Everything I do is to try to make women happy. Well, maybe not everything. Everything I do that involves other people is mostly to make females happy. My wife, my daughter, my granddaughters, anything to keep the smiles on their face. I'm all for it. I don't believe in happy wife, happy life, but I believe in make her happy because I like to see her happy. So I'm not anti-woman. I'm not the misogynist that this might have made me sound like. But we do need to get back to just reality. We just got to get back to reality. Men and women are different, and there's nothing wrong with pointing that out. Guys, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so very generous. Jack, anything you want to show?
I dropped a couple links to some videos that really need to be watched. As always, thank you so much for all the support you give us. Thanks, Evolved, for the dono. You guys are awesome. I hope you have a lovely day.
For the record, YouTube has changed their algorithm for their policies for how monetization can happen. My channel's not in any danger, but if you guys enjoy Jack's work, please check out his links below. And if you enjoy it, share them far and wide so that we can get that taken care of over there.
Yeah, because I'm about to get fucked by the algorithm.
And the whole reason for it is all the slop that is on the channel or on the YouTubes because of AI.
Yeah.
Tell you this right now, if I'm watching a video and I realize it's AI, like they did a really good job. It's kind of like when you watch somebody who pretends to be American, but then they'll say a boot. You're like, that's a fucking Canadian. They'll pronounce something wrong. You're like, this is AI. I immediately downvote it and stop watching. I do not watch AI slop. Now, I'm not against AI. And if somebody used AI to write their script and then they actually make a video using that script, I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is the AI slop that's fucking people like Jack right now. And I do advise everybody to do the same. Fuck this AI nonsense. Do you remember when it was YouTube? You was the big thing. And we used to even talk about this because YouTube went so corporate and stuff. Now it's not even corporations that we have to fight with. It's literal nonsense.
Yeah, it's prompts some Indian dude put in Chat GPT, wrote a script and did a bad voiceover on it. It's very frustrating because what they're actually doing is making it easier for those sloppers to succeed because it's favoring longer videos because you need double the watch time now. And they're producing like 2 to 10 hour videos sometimes.
Yep.
So they can churn that crap out all day long. I take hours to put my videos together and I'm getting punished for it. It's a little frustrating.
It's usually the sorry that gives the leaps away. For the record, it's not usually about that does it. There's other words that I've caught, but almost all of them are double O words because there's something in the Canadian DNA that doesn't make it so that they can say about, right? They'll about. But there's other words and they've gotten crafty because they say about right now. Little bastards are learning.
Sometimes. Yeah, you got to get them to say look because they'll say Luke.
And yeah, so be on the lookout. Now, don't downvote and immediately stop watching just because they're Canadian. Just realize you're better than them because you're American. But keep an eye out for them too. But the AI slop shit, please don't encourage it in ways that. What really pisses me off is the only time I watch things mostly based on what's recommended to me, and a ton of this shit is recommended to me.
Yep, I get a lot of it all the time. What gets me is it's on X too, because if you watch some of the shorts that are on there, they'll take like part of a news story and it becomes some totally other thing. Or they'll get names wrong, stuff like that. It's really frustrating to listen to.
You can also tell when they try to sound American, but they use British terms like going to university, or they call electric hydro. Yeah.
Yeah, or car park. That's
Fucking Canadians. Giveaway. They're sneaky as shit, guys. I love the ones that watch us, but all the rest of them are sneaky, diabolical little bastards.
Yeah, they're evil, dripping down like maple syrup.
Yes. You know what pisses me off is that most maple syrup isn't maple syrup. It's corn syrup that they tried to flavor like maple.
Yeah.
Like, read your Aunt Jemima Bible. Yeah, I want an Aunt Jemima Bible now.
I do too.
But read the bottle. It's corn syrup. Dirty bastards.
Everything's a lie now.
I know. Who's to blame? Women. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Guys, take care of yourselves. We love you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
For the record, I really do like Canadians. I just like fucking with them.